Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. Man, we're sorry about for being a couple of minutes late. We were having so much fun sitting there talking in the chat before the show started. We all sit around and talk for a few minutes before the show ever starts. And sometimes we get talking and forget about the time, which we did tonight. And there you go. We were late getting the show started. So sorry about that. But anyway, tonight is exciting because one lucky person, we had 63 people entered the website giveaway, which is fantastic. That's pretty good. So 63 people. And I hope that if you entered, you were out there in the chat because you have to be present to win. So we will be getting to that and picking the one lucky winner for the website tonight. And I think that is just so awesome. But a lot of things going on around my shop. I finally got the scroll saw together. So, matter of fact, if you want to look at it over there.
Let me get a rag so I can wipe my mouth. I'm drooling.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? My brand new sponsor got it all together. It wasn't hard to put together at all. A few little things that you need to know about it, but other than that, and I've actually the other night on Twitch, I actually used the saw on Twitch for the very first time. I will tell you this much, it without a shadow of a doubt is different than using the DeWalt. That's to be expected. You can't use a tool for 10 or 15 years and then change to another tool and expect that tool to perform the exact same way. So it'll take me a little bit of getting used to it, but it's so smooth, so nice. And just a big shout out to Seiko for the scroll saw and becoming my brand new sponsor. I really do appreciate them. We had a good time on Twitch with it the other night, and it is just so fantastic when you start something like this and you continue to grow, and then you have the sponsors come in and join you, just like Frank's here tonight with the website giveaway. I cannot explain or express how good that makes me feel and how wonderful it is. So it's just fantastic. But anyway, we'll go on with that. And I don't have my paper to tell me. Yeah, I got to go find my paper. I can't remember all that stuff. And I forgot. That's one thing I forgot to do is remember my sponsor's paper. It's over there from where I did the Twitch thing. Give me 1 second.
Fast Cap.
He could just look at his television behind him.
That's all he got to do.
I was just thinking that too.
No, now. I know that's back there, and this mic is giving me a fit tonight. It's not wanting to stay behind. Yeah, it's not wanting to stay behind my ear over here. It's
batteries are dying and stuff.
Batteries are dying. Shut the heck up, Al.
Just trying to fill the air.
You know? Nobody asked you, Al. So let's do that. Let's talk about my sponsors, and they are Devobal Technologies for website design, development, hosting. Go to devobal.com. They're the ones that do my website, and some of the people usually on my panel, they do their websites also. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years of woodworking. Create with confidence. Go to rockler.com. And Bear Wood Supply Company, for those hard to find woodworking supplies, go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com. They have a lot more than just sandpaper over at Klingspor. They have lathe tools, all kind of Ricon band saws, all kind of stuff over there. And last but not least, and I have to make this one up, is not make it up, but I don't have it written down, is Seiko, the scroll saw specialist, my brand new ST21 by them. So thank you all. And Frank is on tonight from Devobal. Thank you all to all my sponsors. I appreciate you very much. Tell you what, let's go ahead and go down the line, and we'll let Frank, I'll let you go last, and we'll let everybody that's on the panel introduce themselves. And let's start off with Brenda. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us where we can find you.
Well, thanks, Russ. I'm glad you decided to have me on the panel tonight. I'm Brenda G from Brenda G's Designs, and you can find me almost anywhere by looking at Brenda G's Designs. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and as of this past week, I've also entered Patreon. So you just look at Brenda G's Designs, and I'll be there.
Cool. Next is Mr. Chris Ahern.
Hey guys, Chris here. Chris Ahern from the Old Cranky Workshop. I'm on Facebook and YouTube, and that's about where you'll find me, because the rest of the stuff, I just do this for fun. I don't need to be blasted all over the web. So
what's the temperature been like there lately?
Weirdly, it's been in the 50s. We had a day in the 70s midweek. So all the snow we got last weekend is gone. We're about to drop down again tomorrow back into the 30s where we belong. So I'm not going to reopen the shop yet because I'll get everything moved back out there and it'll drop again and all my paint's free. So we're going to give it a few more weeks still. So we'll be back out the shop soon and hopefully get some more projects going.
Yeah, we've been experiencing really exceptionally summertime temperatures here. 80s, like we've broke a record. I think the record has been 87. We've hit 89 here this past week or so. So, and it's been 17 or 18 days of being in the 80s. That's insane. What I'm worried about the most is April is usually Easter. I remember as a child going to Easter, what is it? When the sun comes up, or sunrise service. I've been going to, sunrise service in the morning. And I remember being frost on the ground in April. Well, what I'm worried about is all this heat. And then we come in, boom, a big nor'easter or whatever come down. And then temperatures drop really, really cold. It's going to kill a lot of plants because they're thinking it's spring already and starting to bloom.
Yep.
So, all right, Matthew, how you doing, Matthew?
I am fabulous. Thanks for having me on, Russ.
No, you're awesome.
I am working on something that's awesome. If anyone's familiar with my Prince video where I dance around and go crazy in my shop, I am working on something that is on par with that level of awesomeness. The first 23 seconds took 8.5 hours to edit. It will be epic. So get on Awesome Wood Things on YouTube if you want to see this spectacular epicness. Hopefully I finish it in a couple days. And I'm on Facebook, Awesome Wood Things. I do have a Patreon, Awesome Wood Things. Have one patron. Come on, people. Help a brother out.
8.5 hours of editing. Wow.
It's nuts. It is absolutely nuts.
And then next is Mr. Al Forte.
Hey guys, Al Forte. Excuse me. Odessa Woodworks, Odessa Woodworking on Facebook, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop on YouTube, Kilroy79763 on Twitch. Come by and see us. Tomorrow, I've got some more games to give away for the 100 follower weekend extravaganza. I don't know, whatever what you want to call it. But anyway, just having fun, finishing up the baker's rack. And, just doing it just for fun, I guess. But anyway, come see us. Thanks for having me, Russ, and glad to see everybody out there.
You're welcome. And then a long time no see, Mr. Russ Meadows. How you doing?
Doing better and better. If I get over this cold I got. Russ Meadows here from Russ and Nails Wood Shop on Facebook and Instagram and just a tiny smidgen of YouTube. And not doing anything in the shop just yet. Still trying to get back there. But if anybody in this area wants to come help me lay some floors, you're welcome to come.
Yeah.
Floor and trim. I got floor and trim left.
For those of you who don't know, Russ was affected by some of those hurricanes this past year.
Hurricane Harvey knocked me out.
Yeah. So he's had quite a bit of damage there. So, we got, I don't remember the name that we had.
Maria.
Was it Maria?
Think
My
so.
Maria.
Yeah, there you go.
So she did a good number on my roof, and actually my roof, my daughter's roof, and my son's roof all got damaged from that hurricane. So we're still recovering. And then, Mr. Frank, how are you doing?
I'm good, Russ. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So tell us about Devobel.
Well, Devobel's a software company. We do websites, mobile apps, from really small projects to the federal government, anything in between. Yeah, we've been around since 2002. We're about 35 guys and a few ladies that work for us. That's about it.
That's not just about it. Y'all are all fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I really, I do appreciate Frank and Devobel for coming on board. What has it been, 3 years now? I think it's been 3 years. Wow, how time flies. But for coming on board and offering me a free website. And then the first year that we were together, he came back and said, I mentioned to him about doing a website giveaway, and he was like, yeah, we can do that. So we did the website giveaway, and he ended up giving like 5 websites away in one night. So I'm like, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that wasn't my smartest move, I think, in a long time. I overwhelmed the guys at the shop.
Yeah, they probably were saying, you did what?
Yeah. Yeah, our operations manager's like, you might want to slow down.
Yeah.
But I really have a passion for the maker community. I do wood carving and metal work and some woodworking. I just don't know how you guys are able to get it all on video and keep creating content. I mean, that is really a big deal to do. So I haven't taken that step yet. I actually don't want anybody to see me working because they'll probably tell me to stop what I'm doing.
No, that's not true. I thought the same way you're thinking. And when I first started doing it, but that's not necessarily true. I mean, not unless you're just totally messing up. But no, that's not necessarily true. People enjoy watching other people do things, and everybody has a little something, I feel, that they can bring to the table. In other words, the way you do it might not be the way that I might do it, or the way that Chris or Brenda or one of the other people on the panel might do it. But so I think that that's what they look at. I have noticed this over the years since I've been doing YouTube. And I think a lot of it has to do with not only the work they do. Some people are very good makers other than others, but it's also about a personality. Yeah. If a person has a good personality and they also can do fantastic things on top of it, then boom, their channel just blows up and blooms and goes places.
It's a big commitment to create this kind of content.
You know, it is. Work. Yeah. Oh, I agree. There's everybody on the panel. A lot of these guys will tell you the exact same thing. I have been slacking here since the last couple of months. I always slow down November, December into January. It takes me a while to build back up in that time frame during the holidays. Number one, because I have orders. I have a lot of people that want me to fill their orders, so it's kind of slows down my production as far as YouTube videos. And then the other thing is just the holidays. I enjoy spending time with my family, so I'm getting ready to ramp back up and start producing more videos. But it's
videos since November, so
yeah,
they're all on the disc ready to roll. I just have to edit.
I'm not far behind you. I have 3 videos that I am working on right now trying to get out. And one of them is the building assembly of the scroll saw that I need to get up and get out and everything. So another one is there's a couple of more things that I did, but finding the time lately has just been consuming. I know Russ has been working on his floor. I've been working on my roof. So trying to get it repaired and get it done. And I have some people out there were like, I thought you did your roof a while back. Yeah, I did do roof a while back, but then there came a hurricane and all that I had done before, guess what? it no longer is. It got ripped and destroyed. So now I'm putting on the second roof within 2 years. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys, how long does it take you to edit, create the video portion of a project? Is that a fair question?
Sure. Well, all right. There's two different things. There's one, when you create the project and do the project and the filming of the project, that's the first step, so to speak. And naturally, you can't just do like you would normally do because you have to move camera, you have to take different shots, you have to show this tool and that tool. That's for one. And then the second part would be editing that to get ready to put it off on YouTube. So that's how I break it down to two things. I'll tell you somebody I'm going to let, which I think is pretty good as far as editing and doing this kind of stuff, and let him talk about it for a second. That's Matt. Matthew, do you mind?
Yeah, I would say it adds about a third to the build for, as what Russ said, moving cameras and things like that. And then for editing, you know, every minute of footage could take up to an hour to edit. Usually a little bit less, depending on how much you're putting into it. I like to do transitions. I like to cut it to the music. I like to put overlays. So my videos are very visually, it's like an onslaught of visuals, which I like. And then the voiceover. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Wait, is it worth it?
Well, it is. And once you get into it, that's the way it is. So you don't remember what it's like just to crank through a project without the camera there. It just becomes part of your routine. And worth it is a big question mark. It just depends what your goals are on YouTube. The more you put into YouTube, the more it kind of keeps generating, you know, in other words, it's a slow ramp up, but once you're on the incline, you know, people watch your old stuff and then they start coming back, and it's a slow game, but if the momentum is going up, it'll slowly build on itself, and then it can become really worth it.
I think it's also what you're looking out of it. I do it for the fun of it. I know right now there's a big brouhaha about the YouTube changes and monetization and all that. You know what? I'm skipping right past all those posts because I don't care. So I'm not in it to make any money. I'll make a video when I can. I'll throw it out there. People enjoy it, great. People don't enjoy it, I don't care about that either. So I'm doing it for the fun of it. And every video I do, I try to learn something new about my software, about positioning the camera, about what my camera can and can't do, things like that. So each project I'm trying to learn more on my own too, not just create content. So.
Yeah. Profit sharing,
the fun side of it, right? Where you guys have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And then it could be a business side where you're actually doing it as a business, right? To supplement the craft.
Right. And if you're going down that path, you need much more than just AdSense. AdSense that's the profit sharing that we're talking about that was changed recently. Yeah. That's a drop in the bucket. If you're doing it as a business, you need multiple channels of revenue. And yeah, but
you know, I had my son-in-law the other day when we were talking about some stuff, and I was showing him some of the stuff like I was doing, like this is one of the bowls I've turned lately, and he was like, I don't understand why you're like, don't go into this and just start selling them and turning them and doing everything. And I went, whoa, wait just 1 second. And I'm going to stop myself for 1 second because there's different avenues of everybody and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And going back to what he said, I went like, you don't understand. I am not running a business here. If I make a couple of bucks off of AdSense or off of this, or if somebody wants to donate me money or do stuff like that, that's fine. I'm in this because I'm doing woodworking and I'm having a lot of fun. I retired. If I'd get back into this turning or doing doing this or doing that as a business, the fun's going to go away and I'm not going to want to do it anymore. So now there are people that are out there that are trying to make a living out of this. And, and some of them can be successful and some of them can't. I personally think unless you had, it better not be just YouTube. It better be like several other avenues, like being able to market, be able to have a product that's selling out there very great. Because if you're relying on YouTube and the AdSense and everything, I think you're going to find yourself very sadly mistaken as about the profit or whatever you can make off of this. I know there's a lot of hype about, you know, becoming very wealthy and making movies and everything off of YouTube. But the reality of it is there's more people out there not making it big than there are that have made it big. Mm. So I do want to take this moment just for 1 second to go over to my chat section and shout out. I don't remember who it was, but somebody's already asked what the heck I did to my arm. And I don't remember who it was. Katie Dotson just asked, what did you do? Fall out of a truck? No, I have a ramp. Long story short, I have a ramp in front of my house that I built a long time ago for my mother, and it's still there. After I got used to the ramp, I'm not putting steps up because the ramp's so much easier to walk up. And I bought a pair of tennis shoes, and they were really, really slick. And I stepped on the ramp, and just my feet went out from underneath me and busted my butt. This was, my arm went down the screen door as I was falling. So this is all from the screen door just eating me up as I went down. So I'm fine. I landed on my butt. It's big, plenty of padding, so no problem there. But yeah, it just eat me up on the way down. So that's what happened to my arm. And guess what? Those tennis shoes are no longer in my home. They're no longer on my property. They're at the county landfill. I threw them in the garbage. So, but Natanic River Woodcrafting, Inspired Woodworks, TJ's Woodworking out there, Tom Spillane. I'm just going back up through real quick. Katie Dotson's out there in the chat. Ken McCrory. Becky's. Where are you at, Becky? I passed you up. My scrolling wheel over here is going faster. I'll get back. Driveway Woodshop. Jim Bashir's is out there. Jim, if you want the link and want to join us, you're more than welcome to come on board. Frank McCain. Inspired Woodworks. Alan Carter. And Alan Carter was the first one I seen it. And he goes, what the hell did you do to your arm, Russ? So, Alan, yeah, I slipped and fell. Martin Cole. Anyway, all those guys. Mike Bennett Sr. is out there, are in the chat, and good to see y'all. Thank you for joining us tonight and in being out there. I appreciate it very much. I'm glad, you know, when I first was going to do this tonight, I was kind of like worried because I was like, what are we going to talk about for a little while before we give the website giveaway, because I really didn't have any plans. It's kind of hard to plan around something like this. So that being said, let's go ahead and explore some of the stuff that Frank was at, the question he was asking. Al, let's go to you next. Do you have anything to say about editing and what you're doing and how long it would take or whatever?
Yeah, it does add, and somebody said a third. I think maybe half as much more to the project. I've found myself building things, a little child's chair, which was really simple, building it, and I can slap it together and put it together and do it real well. But when I try to record it, I have to look at what angle I'm taking, and then I have to stop and talk about it. And the same thing when I stream. You know, I interact back and forth, and I actually went to Twitch to possibly gather video, but I've spent so much time streaming that I don't have time to gather the video and piece the stuff together to make a video, which is one of the reasons I started over there. But it's actually opened up a whole nother avenue of fun. I mean, I do it just for fun. My motto is, you know, do it just for fun, no matter what you do. And yeah, it adds a lot to it. Back in November, we did 30-day almost impossible challenge, and it just blows my mind how much time you spend editing and putting stuff together to get a video, a 4-minute video, all month for 4 videos. So yeah, it adds.
So let me ask you this: when you start creating this kind of content and then you get some momentum, some followers, do you now feel obligated to continue creating content?
Certainly, yes. I'm building a project, and I'm actually more motivated because of feeling obligated. Let's call it that. Let's just say that. But I'm also more motivated. I want to get out there and do it. And I have a bunch of projects in my shop that have gone undone because I don't really have that obligation or the motivation, even though I do have some obligation to them, don't get me wrong. But the fact that I know that they're going to maybe come back and watch, yeah, it is an obligation.
Frank,
between that and the obligation and the fun, is there a hey, now I'm obligated and it's not so much fun?
Well, it's like starting up on time. There's a lot of pressure because you or at least I haven't quite figured out how to script it and stream it, and get it all automated, because there's so many different pieces to it. But just starting to get going, it might take me an hour basically before I can even go out to the shop. And then even then I stand there for half an hour trying to tweak here and tweak there. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It really is. But people do start on time, are very well organized, do it for an hour, and are successful in it. But sometimes it doesn't work as smooth for me. I mean, today, I'll just be honest, we went to do some grocery shopping, went to the Asian market and stuff. And so here we are running back, to try to get on, on time. Well, I hadn't put any ads out or anything.
Frank, I think the obligation comes in different levels. I mean, obligation of your fans, that's pretty minor. If you have the mindset where I'm doing this for fun, I'm only putting out stuff that's good, that's minimal. There's some obligation because YouTube rewards channels that post regularly. And then if you kind of want your channel to grow, you can kind of feel an obligation just from the platform side. And then this is only speculation because I haven't gone down this route. When you get into advertisers and brand deals, then the obligation really ratchets up because you've got expectations with that business relationship. So fans minimal, platform moderate, because they reward steady growth and steady posting, and business deals a lot of obligation. So I wouldn't worry too much about that if you're just getting started. I'd jump in. You'll get the feel of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you are interested and want to do this and want to get into it, I'll give you a suggestion. Pick somebody that you watch that you like, kind of mimic their videos. As far as when I say mimic them, see their style, the way they put them together, the way they edit them, and kind of start off with that to give you as a guideline as getting started, and kind of mimic their thing to begin with. That'll give you a basic to start off on. Then as you start getting used to it and getting adjusted to making the videos and making and editing and stuff, then you'll kind of separate from that and get your own style and your own technique. So that's kind of the way I kind of did it at the beginning. I kind of watched other people, saw how they did theirs, and I did that, and then later on I grew and kept on growing, so to speak. I mean, heck, I got a whole bedroom in my house now, and it's turned into a green screen room to do green screen for my videos. So does that help? Does it make it better? I don't know. I think it spices it up or makes a little bit of it better and look more professional, so to speak.
Yeah, professional.
Yeah, professional. And let me touch base on that just for 1 second. And that's another thing where you have to look at. When I pattern my videos, I patterned them off a few people that I liked that were what I thought were more professional than others. Steve Carmichael, for instance. I liked the way he did it. Even though he's a down-to-earth person and his videos are kind of down-to-earth, he's very professional in what he does. Steve Ramsey, another very good one. He's very good at what he does. Now, the green screen was just my invention. I want to take it to the next level, so to speak. But they had qualities that I thought that looked more professional than other people. So that's when I branched out and went to the more professional looking. If you're wanting to grow your channel and make it look good, and you want to get sponsors, so to speak, let me tell you, the better and professional you can look. It don't have to be perfect video. It don't have to be fantastic video, but the more professional you can try to dress your video up to be, the better. Trust me. I know this for a fact. So that's what you have to look at.
So at what point do sponsors start looking at you? Is it based on how many videos you have, how many followers you have?
Good question. What made you look at me, Frank? I mean, I was a nobody. I'm not that really big. I'm not that really great. You stumbled across me and liked my videos. So you answer that question.
Well, I'll say for me, I just saw, I saw your show. I saw your heart, you know, and some of the stuff that you were doing, your crosses and things like that. And I thought, hey, you know, it's something I can, you know, I have something I could offer you, and here you go. And if our name is ever mentioned, great. If not, that's really not why I did what I did. So I probably wouldn't be a fair sponsor, but you know what I mean?
But I understand what you're saying, but in the same aspect, you saw me and you liked me. So that kind of goes back to what I was trying to say. Some of what we do, and some of what a lot of people do, is personality. Steve Ramsey, Steve Carmichael have great camera personalities. Okay. So they, don't get me wrong, their projects are great. They do good stuff in their videos. But the second point that they have with that is their personality. Everybody loves them.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, it's you, yeah. If you have the only way to put this is by not wanting to sound bad, but if you have a real bad, gruff personality or whatever, I don't think you would be good at making videos, if you get my point.
Yeah.
Frank, I think part of the answer is socialbluebook.com. That is a website that will give you approximate costs for things you can do for advertisers and brand deals. Your question was, when do advertisers reach out to the creator?
Sure.
Most of the time, I think it's the other way around. As a creator, you got to pound the pavement and you got to put yourself in front of the advertisers. It does happen. I mean, if you get really big, they'll come knocking at your door.
Sure.
But
so what do you owe them, though? So once you have a scroll saw sponsor or a table, you know, they've given you tools, what do you owe them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you owe them to try to get their do videos with their product in your videos. That's the way I look at it. Okay. I mean, like for instance, I'm doing Wednesday night on Twitch. Every Wednesday night, it's I'm doing a Twitch channel, and my scroll saw, it was I used a DeWalt for years and years and years and years and years, and now it's going to be a Seiko. So every Wednesday night, people are going to see a Seiko scroll saw. So, and anytime I do any videos where I'm doing scrolling on my regular YouTube channel, you're going to see that saw in those videos. So you try to promote their project or their product as much. I mean, if somebody gives you a table saw, you can't naturally do everything pretty much on a table saw. There's going to have to be some sanding. There's going to have to be some of this or some of that. But my point is, but by George, I think in your videos, when you do them from now on, every time you need to have a cut on a table saw, their table saw needs to be in your video.
You better hope you like the tools.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I know we've talked to Matt a lot and Al. Let's go to Brenda. Do you have anything you want to comment? I know you're just getting started basically yourself, but
I have been doing YouTube for about 3 years, but only the past 8 months have I been doing the crafting videos. The thing that kind of brought me to that is that when I retired, I wanted to do crafts. That was my big thing. I had dabbled in crafts all my life, and I enjoyed it, and I'm very eclectic in my crafting. But when I retired, I wanted to do it full time as a hobby. And since I had already been doing YouTube, it just seemed natural to switch over to doing crafts on YouTube. And that's how I got started with YouTube. Well, as it blossomed and people really started enjoying my videos, I started branching out, and I got an Etsy store. And then just recently, I went over to Twitch when YouTube started changing rules and regulations. I thought, well, it might not be a bad idea to get another venue to put videos on and start building my audience there as well. Just, in case things don't happen to pan out with YouTube over here, I don't want to just be dead in the water. And then I decided that, well, since the revenue just doesn't seem to be going to come from YouTube at all, I would like to at least make a little bit in order to recomp my expenses in getting all the craft supplies and all the products and things that I need to do the videos. So that's when I decided to go with Patreon. So it's just one thing kind of goes into another with this. And it is very time consuming. I was doing YouTube, and now I'm doing videos on Twitch as well. And now I'm doing videos exclusively for the Patreon channel as well. So it eats a lot of time. The bigger you get, the more time you get to throwing into it. So you better really love what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, I would just like to, there's a couple of things out here in the chat. Who was it? Alan Carter. Alan Carter pointed out, I don't see Seiko in your sponsor sign yet, Russ. No, I have been working on my roof, trying to repair it. So therefore, I'm sure that they will. I just got this thing this past week and just got it together. I'm sure they will wait until the next show to get there. They will be up there. Trust me. That's coming. It takes a little while to do one of these things, to get all the sponsors and get their logos and everything in there. But they're coming, Alan. Huh? Seiko's going to be up there right along with everybody else. So, I'm trying to go back through. Has anybody else seen anybody or seen any questions out there? I was trying to look through to see.
There was a lot of agreements with what we were saying, and a lot of people do it just for fun, as like most of the panelists here.
And let's go back to this. If you're stuck in a job on a day-to-day basis and you don't like it and you're not having fun at your job, what horror is that? So look at the YouTube thing in that same aspect. Why not have fun when you're doing? You don't want to be like regretting every time you go out and do a video, or you understand what I'm saying. It's, don't stress yourself out. Don't put it to a point of when it's like, I have to do this, or make it about, I'm having fun. I'm having fun doing these shows. I'm having fun doing these videos. I'm having fun doing woodworking. I'm having the time of I'm retired and I'm having the time of my life, so to speak. So make it about the fun part of it. Don't try to, and that's one thing when I say, when you go into making this thing as a business, so to speak, I think that takes some of the fun out of it, because now you're trying to struggle. Now you're trying to make ends meet. Now you're trying to, it's a business. I got to get this project out. And what happens if you finish the project and it didn't turn out right? The customer don't like it and you have to remake it. So there's a lot of that avenue where I'm at the time where I'm retired, and when I take on projects, I'll tell you one thing. I hope my customers aren't listening to this, but I can have a project that a customer will ask me to do. And please, God, don't let them be listening. And they'll ask me, how long is it going to take you? I'll tell them, oh, at least a couple of weeks, knowing dang good and well I can turn that thing out in 3 to 4 days. Why do I say a couple of weeks? One of two reasons is because I might wake up in the morning and I might not feel like going out into my shop. I might just say, hey, let's hook up to the boat and let's go fishing. Or I might wake up in the morning and my grandson, my daughter calls me and says, my grandson's not feeling well and he can't go to school. Can I watch him? And she needs to go to work, and I might watch him for that day. I can think of 1,000 reasons that might come up tomorrow that I might not want to go in my shop. So therefore, if I tell them a couple of weeks and I finish it in 5 or 6 days, they're happy. They think I've done fantastic. But if I tell them 3 or 4 days and it takes me a couple of weeks, that don't look so good. So I just tell my people, oh, a couple of weeks, I'll have it done and everything. And I've never had any of my customers complain or whatever, because they know right up front, when I tell them I'll have it done in a couple of weeks, it'll be in a couple of weeks. Now, have I had a few times I've had some rush projects from customers that have been faithful and said, I need this done like by Friday. Is there any possible way? But because of I know them and they've been faithful, they come by from me all the time. I'll get it done by Friday. Don't worry about it. And I put those to the front and get them done, if that makes sense.
That's just good business sense, Russ, giving yourself some padding. And, if you do run up against the deadline, give a heads up before the deadline. That's, people understand. They know things get in the way.
All right, Frank, have we answered your question? Anything more?
No, this is good. This is like good education.
We're glad to have you. You need to come on more often. I'd enjoy you being on.
I do.
There will be a test at the end.
I do have one more question. What's your take on the show in Atlanta next month? Is anybody you going, or?
I'm 99. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I should be there. Yeah, I'm going.
Okay,
I will be there.
I think
on the panel.
I gotta miss this year.
Yeah, somebody's got to celebrate St. Patty's Day and up there where he's at instead of coming on down there where we're at.
Well, I'm going to try to go. So
it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
It's definitely worth it. I've been the last 2 years, but I have to miss this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I'm going to miss y'all guys. I'm going to miss seeing Chris and Russ. Brenda, you going to try to go?
No, I'm not going to be able to make it this year.
Okay.
Maybe next year. The craft thing has been eating up all my extra income, like there really is any. And so finances are not going to contribute to me going this year.
This is Inspired Woodwork says, I should probably go back to my shop, but this is the only real social interaction I've had this week. Well, Inspired Woodworks, we're glad you were out there and watching us and having some social interaction. So we appreciate you being out there. I'm looking for questions, guys. And I've told y'all this before, if we missed your question and you have one, just repeat it a couple of times so that it goes down, because sometimes that y'all get to chatting about other things out there and it goes by real quick. We can't see them. This year the show is March 16th through the 18th. I signed your Inspired Woodworks. I didn't sign it. Russ Meadows signed your saw blade in 2016.
You signed mine last year.
Yep. Looking back through to see if there's any questions, if y'all would repeat them if you have any.
Russ, I forget who said it, but it brought up another point about he should be in his shop, but this is only social action. I think all this YouTube and the Facebook pages has brought a lot of people out of their shells.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that would just be in their workshop and barely see the light of day. So, look at the crowd we had last year in Atlanta.
Yeah.
A lot of people even said that normally they wouldn't go to things like that.
I think we had over 100 makers.
Yeah.
It was a bunch.
Yeah. In Atlanta last year, over 100 woodworkers and makers in Atlanta converging on one place. From my understanding, the people that run the show were just absolutely thrilled that many of us showed up, because it like doubled the amount of people that they would normally have at the show. I mean, it was like really incredible. We were a force. There were so many of us. And I had a fantastic time. I get to meet like Chris, and I get to meet Matt, and I get to meet Russ, and we're all sitting here talking, and it's like we know each other, but there's that personal connection when you go someplace like that and actually physically meet and get to talk to them.
Right.
Yeah, you already know them. Yeah, you met them. You've everything. It's just that personal connection when you get there and get to see the people that you've talked to for so many times. That's the one I was looking for. Martin Cole. First impressions, and he said this earlier, and that's when I forgot about this, but Martin Cole said first impressions of the Seiko saw in comparison to the DeWalt. Really big time, and I'm not just saying this, big time difference. The Seiko just cuts really, really smooth. It's really, really, really quiet. A couple of people the other night when I did the Twitch channel Wednesday night, several people told me that they could hear the saw before when I was cutting, and they absolutely hardly heard nothing, except every once in a while they'd hear the wood being cutting into. They didn't hear in other words, the noise of the saw. So yeah, it's a lot quieter, a lot smoother. I mean, the table's a lot broader. Now, it's not as slick as my DeWalt table, but once again, I told y'all I'm going to try to slicken it up, put some wax on it or whatever. That should be all right. I'm not fond right off the bat with the duster, where the blower to keep the dust away from the blade. I'm not really fond of that so far. I'm looking over at it because it's kind of awkward compared to what the DeWalt had. But that's not a good comparison because I just got the saw and I haven't had time to play around with it. It's different. It has instead of the DeWalt had a straight tube, and the spout was off the end of the tube blowing straight. So you would point it at your blade and it would blow the dust away. This it comes out and has a crook in it like that. So you have to kind of like put it in front of your blade or behind your blade to blow the dust. So a little awkward. Yeah, but I've been using the DeWalt so long, I have nothing to compare it to other than DeWalt. So we'll see how that works out. And I did find out it can be switched. I switched mine to one side or the other, and that one can be switched. So I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with it. I'm looking very much forward to trying to do I've tried some angle cuts with the DeWalt, and the DeWalt table has to move. So you're actually holding your project on an angle as you're trying to feed it through the blade. Kind of like a bandsaw. The only way, yeah, it works with the same way as a bandsaw. Well, on the ST21, the head moves and the table stays flat. So your board that you're trying to feed through stays flat. So therefore it's easier to control, easier to cut with. So I'm looking forward to trying something on an angle. Be honest with you, I'm not just saying this, but only using a short period of time. You've heard me say this before, and I got another question out there. I just turned around. Sometimes you have to look at it. It's like the difference between driving a Mercedes-Benz and a Volkswagen. They both get you to work. They both get you to buy groceries, but one drives a hell of a lot better than the other, and there's just really no comparison. So Katie Dotson says, isn't the magnetic piece for the tabletop a plastic? It's very thin wipe down silicone. It's not necessarily, I don't know what it's made out of, but the tabletop is actually a magnetic piece that fits and sticks to the steel underneath it to protect the steel tabletop, and also we're supposed to make it smoother. another thing, when I say protected, is so you don't get scratches and everything on the metal underneath, and it's also replaceable. So in other words, you use this for 4 or 5 years and it kind of starts wearing out. You just take it off and buy a new one and put it on, and they're reasonably priced, or not that expensive. Put a new one on there. Where there is, if you use one and the table itself starts getting holes or you know, starts wearing out, now you got a difference. So I do like that part. It's just a little bit different to get. Everything about the saw is a little bit different to get used to. So
That's just a time check. There's 5 minutes till the top of the hour.
okay. Yeah. So Frank, have we done pretty good on answering all your questions?
Yes, that's great. I'm ready for the giveaway, I guess. Thank you.
All right. I need somebody take over for a second and talk for a few seconds. I got to take a little break, and I'll be right back.
Cool. I will be streaming on Monday from 6 to 7 Eastern, and then you can watch me teach you how to use Adobe Illustrator, and then wait an hour and then go on Brenda's streaming channel at 8 Eastern.
Yes, I do my live stream on YouTube at 8 p.m. on Monday evenings. That's Eastern time. And the show goes for about an hour and a half. And it's mostly that particular stream is mostly just me talking to the audience, answering questions about the crafting shows that I did throughout the week, telling them about products that I used. And I don't have any sponsors. So the products that I'm using on my show, you know, that comes from my heart. I tell them what I think of it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And so we just have a little chat, and sometimes I tell some stories or some jokes, and the people in the chat room get pretty funny. So, you know, we just kind of cut up there for about an hour and a half there on Monday evenings. And then throughout the week, I do video shows, and those are all taped live and then released there on YouTube. And I do one every day, 7 days a week. I also do 8 shows a week over on Twitch. Most of them are in the middle of the night, but I do a 3 p.m. on Monday Eastern time on Twitch. I have an Etsy store. So, you know, all the products and things that I make on the show and a lot of things that I don't make on the show are all put up there on Etsy for everybody's enjoyment. And getting this Patreon thing going, I'm hoping that it takes off. I hope everybody will go and check out my Patreon channel. And on that one, what I'm going to be doing is longer shows. If you think that that's ever possible, those will probably be 2 or 3 hour shows where I'm doing big projects, not just the, you know, little small things. I'll be doing major projects over on the Patreon channel. And let's see, trying to think what all else I've got going on. Well, I got the Instagram and I got the Twitter, and every place you look for me, it's going to be Brenda G's Designs. Very straightforward. Not a whole bunch of things to remember there.
I'll tell you what, I joined the Brenda's Monday show because I like her when she says sub up, sub down. I'm not quite sure what sub down means, but
not supposed to say sub. You're supposed to say something else, Matt. You're supposed to say bus. So bus.
Yeah, now we're bussing. YouTube's kind of got a little issue there with us using that 3-letter S word. So now we'll just spell it backwards and call it a bus.
All right, I got a real quick go back. Alan Carter, is the Seiko only a bottom feeder? No, it can be a top feeder too. It's the same as any of the other scroll saws. It can be a top or a bottom. You're the one that makes it the top or the bottom feeder.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. In a scroll saw, there's one of 2 ways that you can feed the blade into a project. Okay. And I'm what they call a bottom feeder. In other words, whenever I cut and get ready to move the blade, I release the top blade holder and lift the arm up, and then pull the project off, and then kind of tilt the project and put the blade through the bottom of the project and put it back in.
Right.
Okay. There are those, and I have tried it. It just never was that great, or that it was always kind of uncomfortable to me, so to speak, to do that. But there are those that can actually reach underneath and release the blade holder on the bottom and lift the top arm, and the blade will go up with the top arm. They move the project. They take the blade, feed it back down from the top through the bottom, and then reach underneath and tighten the blade.
Got it. Thank you, Russ. I did
So
not know
that's
that.
top feeder, bottom feeder. I'm from day one, I've always been a bottom feeder. So I really haven't noticed. I mean, it can be either or. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal as far as that goes, as far as being able to be a top feeder or a bottom feeder. Not at all.
You know, I wonder sometimes if that's why the knob on the DeWalt on the bottom is actually so much easier to tighten than the top one. You know how we've got the little handle that you made? Because I'm wondering if you should really be top feeding and tightening at the bottom. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I will tell you that much on the Seiko saw. Once again, I noticed the knobs are really, really easy to tighten, and you don't have to tighten down on them as hard as you did with the DeWalt. The DeWalt was hard from day one. Seiko is not. I don't even have to use my little handle thingy.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's really, really different. So I'll have a lot more information coming out here in the near future as I begin to use it. I've only used it basically one time, so it's really not a fair thing to say, or give out a good about it. It does cut smoother. It is so much smoother cutting, and it's so much more quieter than the other one. So I'm really happy with it so far, and I'll put it through some tests. I'll do some angle cuts and some other stuff with it. So, all right, I'm looking out there. So we need to get down to the top feeder, John Schaffner. How you doing, John? Good to see you out there. He's been absent from us on the panel, and I'm glad he actually got out there tonight in the chat. Been praying for you, buddy. I hope you're feeling better. I know he's been sick. He says top feeders rule. So John Schaffner does. So yeah, John Schaffner's been sick. He had a bout with the flu and a couple of other things. So glad to see he's out there. All right. So we got all, and this is a bowl that I turned, by the way. This is my Cedar Bowl. We got all the names in here from all the people. Yeah, see my nice Cedar Bowl? I got to show it off again. I'm doing that on purpose. So,
of course.
Yeah. So let's stir them around real good.
So this is one prize, one winner, right?
Yeah, one prize, and you have to be, in order to win, you have to be out in the chat. I've been pronouncing this for quite some time or whatever. So let's go with the first one is Alex Hovington.
The first one.
Alex Hovington. If you're out there, somebody got a way to keep time?
Okay. 3 minutes past. I'll mark it down.
So 1 minute. We'll give them like 1 minute. I don't want to go too much longer than that. But Alex Hovington, if you're out there, had I think 63 people out there.
Wait a minute.
I've got a 1 minute timer going.
Okay.
Okay.
Paging Alex.
Not
Someone
responding.
send a direct message.
And we're coming up.
Not looking good.
You know, with that, I was surprised when we gave the Dave Gatton on my show gave away the CNC machine.
30 seconds.
We went through 5 or 6 before we've actually got a winner off of that one. I think it was.
Yeah. Wasn't that guy who was an EMT or something like that?
Yeah.
He was at work and had to call in.
Yep.
I'm not having no high hopes for Alex.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Main ignition.
3, 2, 1. Houston, we have a problem.
All right. There goes that one.
Oh, someone just joined. I wonder if it's Alex.
That wouldn't be funny.
So you want me to give it another 1 minute timer?
No. Oh, yes. Give me another 1 minute and I'll tell you when to go.
Okay, exactly. Tell me when to go.
All right. I got one. Eric.
Douglas.
Eric
Douglas.
We have 1 minute from now.
Anyone have any good jokes? How do you make a tissue dance? You put a little boogie in it.
Woohoo! As long as it's not in my beard and in my hair.
I haven't heard that.
In years.
You're right, right?
Come on, Eric.
Come on, Eric. Somebody's on Eric.
20-second mark. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Eric.
3,
Nope.
1.
Sorry. I don't type in the answer to that. How many mosquitoes does it take to screw in a light bulb? Put in the answer before I read it out loud. Because now you got me curious about that. All right.
Amy Dotson that's asking that?
No, it was somebody else. Inspired Woodworks. He's like, how many mosquitoes does it take to screw in a light bulb? And I'm afraid to ask the answer.
No, I'm not looking at the chat. I'm being the official timekeeper.
All right.
You know, that Seiko sounds like a timepiece to me whenever.
It does, because they make Seiko watches. Oh,
Yes.
you didn't know that?
Yes, I knew that.
All right. George? Am I saying that right? George Gladberry?
It looks like Gladberry.
60
Gladberry.
seconds, mark.
George Gladberry.
Jay Parker wants to know, how was the supper with your wife? It was fantastic. We went to our favorite place to eat is Carrabba's, and I love Carrabba's. That was fantastic.
Okay, here's another joke for makers. If you ever get cold, stand in the corner. They're usually 90 degrees.
Woohoo!
Boo.
I'm here all week, folks. Tip your waitresses.
Go ahead. We can take another one.
Mark.
Keep us up with the come on, George.
George Gladberry. Are you out there, George Gladberry? George
What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but their flag is a big plus.
Oh, God.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Russ is never going to have me back on again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Sadusto.
All right. How many was that we went through?
Three. Somebody win this to stop the jokes.
They're leaving.
It's been more than 3.
No, I think it was 3.
That was 3. All right. All right.
How many entries do you have?
We have 63.
Now you got 60 now.
The odds are improving.
When you said more than 3, I was counting the ones that were, I dropped them on the floor right underneath me. So.
Maybe we should find out who's in the chat and just.
All right, I got one.
Does it say Al Forte? Oh.
Well, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt we have a winner.
All right.
Yeah, we have a winner.
And the winner is?
Hey!
Congratulations, Chris.
Chris!
Yay, Chris.
All right,
Thank you,
Chris.
thank you,
Yay,
thank you,
Chris.
thank you, thank you.
Hey, wait, I don't need to put the timer deal on?
No,
No more
I
jokes.
kind of figured that. Wow.
Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah,
The old Cranky Workshop gets a webpage.
yeah, you do. Congratulations.
What about the webpage that you had, Chris? What'd you do with it?
Facebook page?
No, I'm just joking. I'm totally joking.
Yeah, I know. That one right by me. Sorry. See, the jokes are dumb.
All right, guys.
And now everybody's dropping off, right?
I mean, I'm actually happy for
Yeah.
you. I'm very happy for you. So
Congratulations.
now I've got.
Thank you, Russ, for holding the contest. Thank you, Frank.
You're all welcome. Yeah, thank that man right there.
Thank you, and thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Do
You're
something
welcome.
productive with it.
Look forward to working with you.
That's-
Alrighty.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we went through 3 or 4 before that.
This is cool because I usually don't win things.
Yeah, George, Gladberry. I dropped them all on the floor in front of me. George Gladberry. What was the other one? Ralph Kiplinger.
Wasn't Douglas Adam in there too, or something like that?
Eric
Yeah.
Douglas, was it?
That one flew way over here.
That one was saying so long and thanks for all the fish.
Yep. So anyway, pretty cool. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Looking out there. Is there anybody has any more questions for any of us on there?
Yeah.
In the chat for
Ken
Frank.
Corey says now you have to open up the shop in the winter now, and I'm assuming he's referring to Chris.
Yeah. If he comes up and shovels the walk anytime.
James Parker put on their Rockler question. Okay. I have no clue as to what that's supposed to mean. Rockler question. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being out there. Becky's Texas Wood Shop, Tim Halcomb, Halcomb. I think that's how you say that. Ken McCrory. James Parker wants to know when I'm going to be back up at the Rockler. I don't know. I have to get with Pat, and he sets the schedules up there. I don't know if I think Frank knew this, but I do classes, scroll saw classes up at our local Rockler store in Orlando. So I got to get with Pat and find out when he has my next class scheduled. So I won't know that, and I'll get back with you, James. Just stay in contact with me over on he lives up in that area, and he wants to come by and see me. So that's the reason he's saying that. TJ's woodworking shops out there, Desert Bum Woodworks, Katie Dotson. She's always out there watching me. James Parker. Dickinson Hoffman is out there. OG Timbercraft. Frank McCain. Alan Carter. Ken McCrory. Trying to pick out a few. Tom Spillane has been out there in the chat. Sterling Davis. Hi, Sterling. How you doing?
Hey,
Sterling Davis is out there. Dave Hart.
I did not see Sterling.
I seen his name. I know his name's in that hat somewhere. I've seen his name because I had to go through and type all these into the computer and print them all out. So, yep. He entered.
Hart. Would that have been the next one, Russ?
No, I just pulled it. I just knew that he was in there, so I started kind of like looking through them over there because I.
It would have been cool if you picked the next one to see who the next one was, or
yeah. No, well, you wouldn't know the next one unless I actually pulled it out. So, Martin Cole, all y'all been out there in the chat. I really appreciate you being out there. Thank you, Brenda, Chris Ahern. Thank you to Matt Haas and Al Forte. Thank you also, Paul, and everybody that didn't know before. Paul was on here, and he didn't come on the show in the beginning, didn't he? He dropped out when he was just in the chat, the pre-show.
Yeah,
Right.
he was just in the chat.
Yeah, Paul from Paul's Messy Workshop had cervical surgery today, and he showed up in the pre-show and talked to us and everything. And he was all in his halo and all that stuff. But his surgery went well. He's doing good, and he just wanted to tell us how he will be back next week and join us on the Saturday show. And also, once again, like I said, my good friend John Schaffner, who's normally on here, he hasn't been feeling good. I know he had the flu for a little bit, and he's been under the weather. And so keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Other than that, and then a big shout out and thank you, Frank. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it, and thank you for the giveaway.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And once again, thank you for my fantastic website. I love it, man. I'm totally ecstatic and so grateful that you would think of me and do that.
All right, good. Well, good night, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, Frank. Thank you much.
We only have
All right.
one thing left to do, Frank. I don't know if I did this last time you were on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we only have one thing left to do, and that is just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. God bless. Thank you for watching.
Good night.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
All right.